In the summer 2015 issue of World Policy Journal, we featured a story called Indian Women, No Friends Online by Ravi Krishnani. The story discusses the relationship between media, society, and democracy by highlighting the challenges Indian women face when they have a presence online. Ravi, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Westerly.
I'm also here with Indu Vashist, the Executive Director of the South Asian Visual Arts Center in Toronto. She works with the Internet Democracy Project, a social democracy organization based in New Delhi, India, whose research was featured in Ravi's piece. Indu, thank you again for being here.
Thank you.
It's great to have you both here. I'd like to begin by asking Ravi, what inspired you to write this piece? What issues were you hoping to highlight?
So, I'm not a quite big fan of social media platforms. In fact, I just have a Twitter ID which I log in once or twice a week. And it was just one of those days when I logged in my Twitter and I saw one of my friends, she was actually tweeting about a policy by our president. You know, it was just a critical tweet. I opened that tweet and I was extremely shocked at how much people were abusing her. There were many critical tweets which were responding to her, and it didn't connect to me. So I just talked to her. I said, how can this be possible? And she said that this was just one of the issues which every girl, every woman, whether she is a journalist or a celebrity, they have to face this sort of a problem. She just gave through some of names like this is the celebrity, these are the journalists. Just go through that Twitter handle and just see the responses they get just to, you know, voice their opinions. I went through some of those tweets and they were really shocking. There were guys who were actually, you know, threatening. There were personal threats to these women. Like they will get raped, or there will be like acid thrown on them. It was really shocking. It was nauseating for me. I just saw some of the websites in India. There were very few websites who had article on these problems. I thought that there should be some article which should go there highlighting these issues.
Indu, what role can organizations like the Internet Democracy Project play in situations like the one Ravi just highlighted?
So basically, our organization, we've been working on issues to do with internet governance for quite a few years, and obviously in India we've noticed that this is a worrying trend. So this misogyny on the internet is one aspect of the kind of work that we do. And what we have noticed is that you know, this kind of behavior is very, very prevalent on the internet, and so that led us to start researching on the topic. Our organization has come out with 2 reports. The first report is actually looking at the laws that exist that one could use to sort of deal with the menace of misogyny on the internet, and the different applications of those laws. The second report that we've put out is actually about looking at the meat of it. So we spoke to 40 different women who are active on the internet that are active in a range of issues. So it's not just people who are politically active. They're just kind of personalities on the internet. And what we found consistently in this report is that most of these women suffered a similar style of abuse from people on the internet. So one is sort of documenting this and looking at how it manifests, and also looking at the strategies that these various women have employed to resist. So whether it's sort of like you know, shut up and get off the internet, which is a thing that women get told fairly often, or, you know, replying to trolls and actually dealing with it in that way. There's a few different elements that we've been able to identify that women have been using to sort of fight back and claim that space on the internet. By sort of examining the phenomena itself, I think what's becoming, what we hope will become clear is what we can do to sort of fix it, or at least resist and break the isolation that some of these women face, because what it takes us, not just a toll in terms of their lives on the internet, but it takes a psychological toll offline as well. What we are interested in is sort of breaking that isolation, bringing light to light this issue, and then hoping to come up with strategies, or trying to think about how we can build some kind of feminist movement or whatever it is, for women to claim space within the internet.
Ravi, you also talk about similar themes in your piece about women learning how to navigate laws to the benefit of themselves. I'm wondering if either of you have any opinions about what this kind of work can mean for journalists at large, journalists outside of India, around the world, who face similar sorts of issues.
I think what's interesting about India, and what's constantly interesting about India in terms of this particular issue, is that this is an issue that's sort of occurred for a long time, and that's had the media's eye on it for a long time, but I think much longer than in other parts of the world. In the West, we're just starting to sort of hear about the kind of troubles troll is a word that is now fairly well known. In the last few months especially, you're hearing that this is a widespread problem. As women in the tech industries and other places are speaking out from around the world. But in India, we've been seeing this for years. There was what we call the MMS scandal in Delhi, which was non-consensual distribution of an intimate act. That's called revenge porn now in common parlance, but that has existed within the Indian context for many, many years. So I think in that way, what we can sort of take from it is looking at what kinds of things manifest in these specific contexts, and how we can sort of formulate responses to them. While it's a context-specific problem, I think there's sort of like worldwide implications for it.
Ravi, would you like to comment on that? Whether you can take the Indian context and expand it to worldwide situations?
When I started researching for my article, I actually found that there were very few laws regarding it. There was a law, Section 66A, which recently got scrapped. But apart from that, there were very few laws which were catering to this problem. There's very less awareness regarding this problem. When I talked to my friend regarding the abuses she was receiving, she didn't even knew that there was a cybercrime branch which existed. Awareness is really a problem in our country when it comes to these trolls or online hatred.
Have either of you found that this issue extends to minority groups besides women, like LGBT people or cultural minorities in India?
It's very interesting to look at how the right wing mobilizes people to attack each other, or to attack dissent on the internet. And so that's dissent in any form. One of the things that's really interesting, and our report sort of talks about as well, is if you, as a woman particularly, or any minority group, tweet or write anything against the sort of Hindu right wing, or anti-government, you will get descended upon by trolls. It happens every day, and you see it constantly happen. They basically will sort of sick mobs onto you and harass you in various ways, and that extends to any minority group, whether you're Muslim or lower caste or any minority group. Basically, anything that exists as an imbalanced power relationship in the offline world will translate into the online world. It may take different shapes and contours, but I think there's, to me, no doubt that whatever power dynamics exist will in some way show face on the internet. And so that's something that I think we have to take very seriously. At the end of the day, it's a space for free speech, and we definitely support that. But at the same time, we have to think about how to protect minority groups within. It's the exact same problems that we deal with in the offline world.
Yeah, exactly. I just agree to what Indu said. They're everywhere. No matter what your background is, no matter what religion you're from, no matter about what you're talking, these guys, I feel that they're just ready with their knives.
So we'll finish with one final question for Ravi. What
Yep.
do you hope to achieve by bringing this story to our readers at World Policy Journal?
Through my article, I just hope that the right authorities, they take notice of this issue, and just they get to know how severe this issue has become, and not just in India but globally. This is a very big problem, and considering the openness of internet, it's a very daunting task. But I hope that either the authorities do bring in measures to keep these trolls in check, or some of these trolls, they actually read this and instill our faith in internet by stopping their insensitive behavior. Balancing democracy with privacy, and understand it's extremely difficult, but it's actually important. It's one thing to criticize someone based on their opinions or based on the work they do, but it's really unfair to criticize them based on their gender. So I just really hope that something needs to be done about it. Either these policymakers or these social media platforms, the people who run them, they should take notice of this and actually come up with solutions which are better than just the block button. That's all I can hope for.
So for those of you who haven't read the story, Indian Women, No Friends Online, it's in the summer 2015 issue of World Policy Journal. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Wesley. It's a pleasure. Yeah.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.